Morning, girls. Who's making all that racket? Eh? Who's making all that racket? I hear you. I do. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Hello and welcome to Chicken Tuesday. Dare I say it's a foul day today? I thought of that and I had to say it. I just had to say it, sorry. It is grey and miserable and raining with some pretty heavy rain showers interspersed with some slightly less heavy rain showers. So it's Saturday morning and I'm out seeing the girls. I let them out into their little playpen area that we've got the tarpaulin over while I clean them out and while I'm sitting with them, just generally chilling out and seeing how they're doing. So why don't you join me in my morning chores and I'll give you an update on how the girls are getting on. Put you out the way, girls. Out the way. Swinging feet. Hiya. Watch out. Hiya. Oh, this one's... I'll get you a bit of sweet corn in a minute. I will. There. Who's doing what there? Right. So let me give you a run through of how the girls are getting on. We can see here Beryl, and Beryl has had her hormone implant in now for a couple of weeks. It's the third implant that she's had, so she's sort of used to it. I'm glad to say that she didn't go into a mega molt, because that can happen when you first put the implant in, and it's been, other than today and yesterday, it's been really quite cold weather and we've had snow and ice and so on, so I didn't really want her to go into a mega molt, and I'm sure she wouldn't have wanted it either. So she's quieting down a little bit again as a result of the hormone implant. She's no longer showing an interest in going into the nest box, so we've switched off her egg laying, which is exactly what we wanted to do to prevent her having any other problems such as she had last year, where she laid internally and ended up getting impaction and peritonitis and had to have an operation to sort her out. Excuse me, but she's a happy girl, happy and hungry and a little bit chatty, but not quite as chatty as before. But to be fair, you know, when girls aren't laying, they do get a bit quieter. But she's still a love, and we love her dearly. So that's Beryl. And then we have, if I can manoeuvre the camera, this big girl is nearly a year old now. In fact, she is a year old. She's just over a year old. And we've had her for nearly a year. This is Jemima, Speckled Sussex. Cover your ears a minute, Jemima. She's maybe not the best stamp of a Speckled Sussex. In other words, she's not going to win any shows, but that's not what we got her for. We got her because we love Speckled Sussex, their temperament and just everything about them really. So we're more than happy with darling Jemima there. As you can see, she's got a bit of a dirty bottom. She's just had a couple of squirty poos, and because she's got a very fluffy butt, it's sort of stuck. What I would generally do in the summer is give her a quick bath to get rid of that, but we don't want to bath them in this, you know, in the winter time. So there's no flies, nothing getting in the way, and it's not causing her any problems. It's just a little bit of dirt on her feathers, so we'll see if we can get that off a little bit. Just pick some of it off or cut the feathers, just to tidy her back up again. The trials and tribulations of fluffy chickens and fluffy chicken butts. So Jemima actually had been laying. She laid about 4 eggs tail end of December, beginning of January, but has stopped laying again, and I think well, the weather turned really cold, so whether that had anything to do with it or not, I'm not sure. But I mean, we're starting to get more daylight, so I'm sure she'll come back into lay in the not too distant future. And here's another 2 lovely Speckled Sussex girls. So the little one on the right, who's pecking at the cabbage, that's Emily, and Emily is also just over a year old, and she came from the same place as Jemima. And then we've got Matilda, and Matilda is nearly, well, she's 4.5, she'll be 5 this year. One of my original 3 chickens. And she was, up until last year, top of the pecking order, but unfortunately she was ousted from top to 2nd place because she had a sort of period of several weeks where she was broody, and so wasn't really mixing with the flock much. And Edith, girl here, took the opportunity to butt in, and when Jemima did come out, she gave her a little bit of a seeing to, a bit of a peck, and she ended up being top hen. So yeah, this is Edith, who's chillaxing at the moment. Edith usually, when she's in lay, she sports the most impressive comb, bright red comb, but you'll see it's sort of a bit small and pink at the moment. That's because she's not in lay yet. I think looking at my records last year, she came into lay first week in February, so she may well do the same again. And Edith, like Beryl, the first girl I showed you, they are hybrids, they're crossbreeds. Copper Black Morans with something else, or maybe even a number of other things. So she's a little mongrel, aren't you, darling? But we love you nevertheless. And then last, but by no means least, another one of the original girls. Here's Hamble, Barn of Elder. Lovely girl. She's also got a hormone implant because she had a what's this like? Last year she had breathing problems, and it turns out one of her ovaries was very enlarged, and it was pressing on her lungs and ear sacs, and it was causing her to have breathing problems, so we've had to stop her laying as well. She's probably due to get another hormone implant in the not too distant future. She's not had one for a while because they've been awfully over the winter. Hamble is she's a chicken of two temperaments, if you like. She is quite shy and quite subdued and quiet. That's her wandering away. Particularly with people. And she's quite far down the pecking order. Where's she gone? She's quite far down the pecking order. But actually, with any of the chickens below her in the pecking order, she's wild. And we call her the witch. Don't we, Hamble? Poor girl. So yeah, she is quite strict at keeping the chickens that are below her in the pecking order down that pecking order. She doesn't want them to overtake her. Do you, darling? So she's also 4.5. And a lovely looking girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. So, we don't have anyone laying at the moment. As I said, Jemima there gave us a few eggs and then has decided to stop again. But she'll come back in. We won't get eggs from Beryl or from Hamble because, of course, they have implants. But the Speckled Sussexes will give us eggs, as will Edith. Now, Matilda, who we're looking at here, Matilda has never been a really prolific egg layer. Don't mind that at all. It's not. We didn't get the chickens 4 eggs. We got them as pets, but with benefits, i.e., giving us some eggs. But she's never been prolific, so she'll start again and give us a few here and there. The 2 new Speckled Sussexes that we got last February, these 2 girls, they were really quite prolific in their first year. Very prolific, in fact. They were giving us 5 or 6 eggs a week. And so they'll start back up. I don't know whether they'll be quite as prolific this year, but we'll get a few eggs, I'm sure. And then Edith, at the back there, because she's a hybrid, she gives us loads of eggs. She was giving us, 6 eggs a week regularly. Certainly last year and the year before, I think. Chickens, though, like humans, they only have a set number of eggs that they can lay. So their ovaries just contain a set number of eggs, and once they've laid all those eggs, they have no more eggs to lay. So if you've got a hen that lays prolifically, it just means that they will lay prolifically for a shorter period of time and then they'll stop laying. Whereas if you've got a girl that lays not so prolifically, then they're likely to carry on laying for longer. So although Matilda here, hello darling, isn't prolific, she may well just keep going and going and going, just giving us the odd egg here and there. Whereas Edith, because she was firing them out, she maybe this year we'll get some good egg laying from her, and then she'll ease up and maybe stop completely. We shall see. But yeah, the girls are fine, and considering we're still in chicken lockdown, I know we're in people lockdown as well, but we're in chicken lockdown because of the prevalence of avian flu in the UK. They're not unhappy. In the winter time, to be fair, they tend to spend a lot more time in the runs anyway and not want to come out into the garden. But just to show you, I've put this tarpaulin up, which basically means we have more of a play area for them outside of the runs, and they can come out and they can, I put some straw down there for them to play in. I've got a big dust bath there for them, and a couple of seats for Tom and I to sit and chill with them. And that's great, and they do come out, but it's, you know, it's pretty miserable, so they they're not rushing to come out, they're not like desperate to get out their runs, and that's good from my perspective, in that it shows that they're quite happy in their environment. Lots of things to keep them interested. There's some spring greens in there. There's a bit of broccoli there. Broccoli's been hanging for a while. They don't sort of gorge on these things, they just pick at them. And then I got this, which is designed for chickens. It's like a forage block, but to be fair, they are not interested in it at all. So I've left it up there and even tried to sort of break off some of the cut grass, but they've not really been interested in that one, I'm afraid. And then over here, hello darling, what they do love is watermelon, and as you can see, they've eaten all of that. And then I put this, again, it's a chicken treat block in, but that's been in for about 2 weeks and they're not really interested in it, so they peck occasionally. So I got this other one, and the same. So whether they're just, I mean, I'm not trying to overdose them with treats, and I wouldn't put these in if they were absolutely stuffing their faces with them, but these are just, they're hanging around, they have a peck here and there, but really they just focus on their food and on, they do like corn on the cob, and they do like watermelon and a little bit of cabbage. So yeah, there's lots hanging about in here, but it's for entertainment value as much as nutritional value, to be fair, because you do need to be careful with chickens. You don't want to overdose the treats. You want them to eat their layers pellets, or in my case layers mix, because it's a layers mix that I give them, because that's got all of the nutrients that they need. And particularly when they're laying, it's important to make sure that they're getting layers mix, layers pellets. But you know, because they're indoors, they're not getting to play in the garden, albeit they're not particularly interested in playing in the garden at the moment. I do like to have things hanging, and I move things around. You know, maybe I moved the water, for example, from there to there from the other side of the run, and I've moved the feed around, and I've incorporated a little sort of bale of hay in here at one point for them to play in, and some straw, and you know, the greenery hanging about and everything. So yeah, so trying to keep them nice and occupied. They're happy girls, you know, touch wood. You know, there's no indication that they're stressed whatsoever. They're happy. They're yeah, just enjoying life really, albeit the weather's not conducive for them to go out to play. Okay, I'll call a halt at that. I hope you've enjoyed the video and enjoyed seeing the girls this week. If you have enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and click the little bell if you want alerted any time I post new videos. And if you haven't already subscribed, it would be lovely if you would subscribe. It's free and it means you can keep track of what's happening in my channel. As always, I love hearing your comments, suggestions, questions, etc. So please, in the comments, put a little note for me and I promise that I'll respond. But for now, I'll say bye bye.